Hi, my name is Trace Bruckler, and this is an improved way to approach the illegal drug use problem in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Started off, illegal drug use is at an all-time high in the city of Albuquerque, and it's rooting other problems. Illegal street drug use is leading to other serious problems such as homelessness, criminal activity, and even death from overdose. The problem here is more New Mexicans are being brought into these problems than ever. The current situation that the city of Albuquerque is facing is due to not just one problem, but many different negative factors all coming together to create even larger problems for its community. In order to really find solutions, a community must pinpoint and underline their number one problem and top priority to fix that. And I believe that that is something the city is not doing an adequate job of, and that is why these problems are starting to spin out of control. With more time and focus spent cleaning up the streets of Albuquerque, because that is where these problems are feeding off of and really finding life from. The causes of this problem. There are many different factors contributing to the illegal street drug problem that our city of Albuquerque is facing. Some factors to consider is the location of the state of New Mexico, that being a border state with Mexico, where Mexico is known to have many illegal drugs and cartels funneled through into the United States from its borders. Another factor to take into account is the mental health of our community and how those people who might be struggling with addiction are taken care of. And drug and alcohol related problems are at least partially to blame for all 10 of the leading causes of death in New Mexico. Effects if nothing is done. If serious changes are not made from our city council, then the effects of this problem will continue to grow and grow as they have been over the past few years. Just simple changes and more focus and attention being put towards ending these problems and not just slowing them down will help tremendously in the effort to change the community of Albuquerque. Well, where there's a problem, there are always solutions. The main problem here is the lack of effort being placed into the efforts of changing the community. This needs to be fixed by the city in order to have any chance of straightening out these problems. With that first in place, more attention can then be placed and brought to a few more steps that will increase the effectiveness of past anti-drug groups, but also finding different ways to combat these problems. The first step will be an entire revamp on the anti-drug group camps, how they are ran, and more funding needs to be increased to the flow of these camps by the DEA. With more funding increases, these groups can build facilities that can house people who are struggling instead of sending them back on the streets. An upgrade to these facilities will also bring them more effectiveness in the way that treatment is brought to patients, because right now the facilities, so to speak, are just camps that are set up. Not much funding has gone into it, and I just think that the city really has put it on the back burner and is not giving as much attention as it should be. And as well as building these facilities for these struggling addicts, we will need to hire more officials and therapists to treat these patients with adequate treatment. Okay, step 1. Putting the plan in action. First step will be revamping the camps and building the facilities. Like I said, the thought of taking people from the street and putting them in places where treatment is available, such as camps or facilities, has been put into action by anti-drug groups after the formation of Operation Engage Albuquerque around 2018. These companies, I feel, are not doing an adequate enough job because the problem is continuing to spin out of control, and they are not receiving enough funds from the DEA, like I said before, in which the DEA is to send money to local drug use prevention efforts in the creation of Operation Engage Albuquerque, which was just talked about. With these efforts put into place from the DEA in our city, Mayor Kelly, working with local groups, will then use these increased funds to build nicer facilities instead of running these operations through camps. Step 2 of putting the plan in action. Step 2 is hiring officials for adequate treatment. With the addition to putting up new facilities around the Albuquerque area, this plan will need workers to fully be put in action. People are always looking for jobs, so this plan of action will also not only help Albuquerque with their unemployment problem by creating more jobs for health officials and therapists, but it will also do its job of cleaning up the streets and helping the community as intended. These new facilities will need front desk workers, nurses, therapists, and other officials suited to give treatment to recovering addicts, such as doctors. When looking into a plan such as this, you must have a cost and budget to sort of think about in the back of your head. Here is a chart that I created that will hold our cost of everything and how much it's totally going to cost to put this plan into action. As you can see on the left side of the chart, that's just the materials we'll need to have adequate treatment, such as treatment rooms, which come with medical supplies, beds, stuff like that, around $10,000 each. Front desks, technology such as computers, chairs and furniture just to furnish the place, and a security plan with guards and cameras will cost around $5,000. Looking in the middle is the treatment costs. This is plans that I've made up. I've looked at other rehabilitation centers, what they charge for specific week plans, however long, and I created my 1 week plan will be $950, 6 week plan will be $7,000, 6 month plan will be $4,750, $4,750, and the full year will be $85,000. And also we will need to pay our employees that are working at these facilities, and at every location we will have 2 secretaries, 3 therapists, 4 nurses, and multiple location managers that will take care of things. And like I said, all data was taken from rehabilitation centers around the Albuquerque area. If these plans are successfully put into action, our community will reap the benefits right away. With more people being helped off the streets and held in these facilities for further treatment, it will alleviate some other problems that the city is facing, such as homelessness, since most of these struggling addicts are already homeless and are in 2 different categories of problems. These problems, are going to continue to increase unless serious attention is brought to them by our state and city officials. You can tell from the data within the past years. And that is my works cited. And if this plan is put into action, it will really help the city. And like I said, the city will start to reap the benefits immediately. Thank you.